Okay guys, everybody's been asking for it and here it is. I'm going to do a little video on how to turn your ACR stock into a pistol brace that uses the Gearhead Works tailhook. The parts you need are an ACR stock, my tailhook adapter, and the tailhook itself. A couple tools you need for this is going to be a mallet and a punch, 1/8 inch Allen head, needle nose pliers, regular pliers, a little pin that I made from a nail. You don't need that, but it helps a lot. And the most important tool, the paint stirring stick. You'll find out why later. First thing you got to do is take your ACR stock and take out the screw on the bottom. This is what keeps the stock from sliding apart when you fully extend it. With this out, it'll come into two pieces. Just like that. This piece you can put away for now, you don't need it. This one now looks a lot like this. And the only thing you need to do now is get these buttons out of here and put them in the adapter. I know it sounds easy, and I might make it look easy, but for a lot of you, you might also need this beer. Next step in this process, I don't know if you can see it, but each of these buttons is held in by a pin. You can drive out the pins either way, but we got to get them out. I recommend taking these paint stir sticks and sliding them down inside the ACR stock. It helps hold everything in place while you knock the pins out. So what I do is set this on my vise over here. It's got some holes in it so I can knock pins through it. And you just take your punch, your mallet, that pin's out. And they always fly on the floor and go somewhere where you can't find them, so be careful with that. So we got these two guys right here. When you pull these sticks out, your buttons and springs are going to fly all over the place. Use these needle nose to pop those buttons and springs out of there. There's one. The other one kind of fell down in there. So now you see these resemble each other. Without the buttons in there, they must look exactly the same. And this we are not going to need anymore. You can get rid of the stock end. Just leaves you with these buttons and springs. The springs kind of lock in place, but they don't always stay where they're supposed to be. And that's why I made this little pin out of an old nail. You can slide it into here to keep that spring in place while you're installing this. So what I do is slide that in there and then figure out which side this goes on. They are different, they go on separate sides. You just slide it in there. It's not always easy, the pin already fell out once. You pop it into place until you can see your pin in there that's lined up with the hole. And you take one of the old pins, you get it started in there, and move it to somewhere where you can tap on it with the mallet. You see, got it most of the way in there. It's going to hold itself in place. It's not all the way in, but I got my slave pin sticking out the bottom here. What I like to do at this part is take a paint stick to protect the surface here and get these pliers in here. Give it a good squeeze to hold it in place. You can see my pin fell out because these pliers took off the tension. And then I bring it over here and finish it off with the mallet. Got it, as you can see there. You really just want this pin to be flush with the top. Sometimes you can take a punch if you need to. Just give it a little extra tap. And now this button's good to go. On the other side, it's a little harder to get in because there's no room with this other button to get your thumb in there. So what I usually do, slide in the first stick, get the second button ready with the pin, and then slide the second button down into the stock. When you get it lined up with the hole, you can see the button in here. I get another stick, jam it down in there, and you can start to see, if you look down in your empty pinhole, that it's almost lined up. What I do is start to stick a third stick in there. And the holes are almost lined up. What I like to do is stick it in the soft jaw vise and give it a good squeeze until those holes line up. And then you just take your pin, knock it in, use the punch to finish that off, pull these sticks out, and you're done. You got two working buttons. Slide this on the old stock. And you're going to take this bottom stop screw and thread it into the hole. So now that's in there, and the new adapter is going to stop. It won't slide off. And you stick your tail hook on, and you're done. It's easy as that. Adjustable tail hook ACR pistol brace for pretty much any rifle you want to stick it on.